Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Dan and Jan Go Yard. We talk baseball, okay?
Baseball
Baseball, our favorite sport.
been
So
very, very good to me.
very, very good. That was what on Saturday Night Live many years ago. So before we were recording, we were talking about the old
Well,
days.
tell your story.
Yeah,
Your first game.
my first game was the Philadelphia Athletics and the New York Yankees in 1951. I was 4 years old, and I got hooked. I mean, I walked through that tunnel. It's not really a tunnel. It's where you walk into your seats,
Right.
and I looked at that beautiful green grass and the outfield in Connie Mack Stadium, otherwise known as Shibe Park, and that was it. I was an instant baseball fan at 4 years old, and I
Wow.
could still see it like it was yesterday. And the reason we went, I was holding my mom's hand and my dad's hand, and we were picking up my brother, who went with some friends and their parents. And at Connie Mack Stadium in those days, it was a quarter to get bleacher seats and stuff like that. But after the fifth inning, they let you in for free. After the fifth, and we went and picked up my brother. But another thing that we were discussing before the camera rolled was I was unaware that Bobby Cox had died, and
Yeah. Right.
on May 9th or May 6th or
Sixth. May
May
6th.
6th. So
Yeah.
I want to turn it over to Jan to talk about that.
Well, he was such an outstanding Hall of Fame manager, Hall of Fame person, apparently. The players loved him. Um, but I was going to say, when I was throwing BP for the Rocks, um, when we'd start BP at 4 p.m. in the afternoon.
Right.
So I had a job. So I would get there. I'd have to get into the clubhouse, get changed, and I always wanted to go out and being 5 days older in water, I wasn't going to jog around
Right.
the morning. So I would walk and stretch, to get loose to throw. He was the only manager, which I understand. But when I would go out, when the Braves were in town, and come around, he always would come out early. And I don't know, this was 95, if he just wanted to see the new ballpark or just get out of the clubhouse, but he'd be sitting in the dugout. So
Wow.
here I would come around, I got no name, number. I'm just an old BP pitcher. And I would come down by, they were in the third base dugout. Every single time he would get up, come up the stairs, come out, shake my, how are you doing?
Wow.
It was, how are you doing? And have a little conversation. And then I'd go on and he'd go back down into the clubhouse.
Man, what a guy. Nice
Yeah,
guy.
I just, to acknowledge somebody that is, for the most part, irrelevant, was just so cool. Just so cool. He
That's
was
very
just,
cool.
he was just such a nice, and he was genuine. He didn't, I could have just walked on by and he could have sat in the dugout and he'd get up and come out.
Wow. That's a beautiful
So
person. A beautiful person.
it
Yeah.
really, yeah, yeah. I just thought it was just cool that he would acknowledge somebody like me. And I don't know if he even knew I threw BP but I had a uniform on.
Right.
But
Um,
whatever. It
yeah.
was, I will
It
never
just
forget that. Never forget that.
it says a lot about the person. It
Yeah.
says a lot about the person and,
Whoa.
and how he was brought up.
Yeah. And apparently he was just that way with everybody, But if you got out of bounds,
Right.
uh, he would let you know you were out of bounds.
Uh, it's interesting. Everybody thinks of him as the manager of the Braves, but didn't he manage the Blue Jays?
I don't know that. I
Uh,
don't know that.
I
I
wonder if
just
you
knew him
know.
with the Braves, but um, he
Hmm.
was. he was just a special person, and the tributes and attributes and everything have been just amazing. And I get it. And of course, Maddox being
Right.
the character he was, he apparently set out in one game to get. I think Bobby holds the all-time record for being thrown out of games, number of times.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Him or Earl,
Huh?
him or Earl Weaver.
Yeah. And Leo was probably in their class.
Yes, Leo too.
Uh,
Yeah.
anyway, Maddox, I guess, decided he really wanted to get Bobby thrown out in the first inning. So he did. He went in, was throwing, and there were some close calls on pitches, and he went into the dugout and told Bobby, he's terrible. These are strikes. He got out. Bobby goes, and you can't argue balls and strikes.
Right.
See ya. So, but I was so impressed that I remember the first time he did it, I came around and he came up the stairs out of the dugout. And, my initial reaction was he was looking for somebody else. But he came right up to me and he shakes my hand.
That's cool. That is great.
Pretty memorable.
And by the way, in my quick look on my phone,
Yeah.
he did manage the Blue Jays.
Before the Braves?
Well, that's an interesting point. But we'll
Oh,
no.
it had to be. It had to be because he retired from the Braves and then went into the front office.
Well, he managed the Braves from 78 to 81, then the Blue Jays from 82 to 85, then the Braves again from 90 to 2010.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and coached for the Yankees. Yeah.
So they were sandwiched in there between. So
yeah, he went in and out. It's interesting. By the way, I'm sitting here in Philly, and it's literally on my watch and on our temperature gauge in the house. It's 100 degrees. It's going to be like 102 today. Or 104.
Stop it.
Yeah. So yesterday it was around 100 degrees, and they played. And what must it be? Did you ever play in? Yeah. What that? I mean, it's hot.
It's brutal. I threw one game. It was either my junior or senior year in high school, and it was summer. It was the Legion program, and our sponsor was a businessman here named Art Malnati, and he had a big tire business and all this. Well, he supplied our uniforms that had Art Malnati on them, and they were wool.
Oh, yes. They were always wool in the old days.
Yes.
Major leaguers did it.
And I'm throwing, and it was 98 or 99 degrees. And I threw 9 innings and lost 16 pounds.
Wow.
Now, the vast majority of that was water weight.
Of course, yeah.
And, back then, I don't know who thought this was a really good idea. They gave us salt tablets.
Oh, I remember that.
We would dissolve salt tablets, which I could be mistaken, but probably made us thirstier.
Yeah.
And there was no Gatorade, Powerade. It was just water.
Yeah.
But I remember coming home from that game, and I could hardly get in the house. I was just, the life had been sucked out of me. So I have thrown in some heat, but I'll take the heat any day of the week over cold.
What's it like pitching in really cold weather?
It's hideous. Well, I think I don't, did I tell this last time I threw a game against the Air Force Academy down at Air Force,
right?
Which sets right up against the mountains. Pikes Peak's right there.
Is it in Fort Collins?
No, Colorado, just north of Colorado Springs.
Colorado Springs. Okay.
And it's beautiful, a beautiful setting. The academy is gorgeous, and there are the mountains. But I threw a game, and it was little pellets of ice. It wasn't snow, wasn't hail. I don't know what they call it, but it was pellets, and it was so flipping cold. And I'm warming up, and I thought, are these going to work? Are my legs actually going to work? And it was hard to grip the ball. It was so.
Yeah.
Anyway, uh, it just goes to show you, as a pitcher, you never quite know when you go to get loose. Is it here today? Oh, no, maybe not so much. Whoa, not at all. I mean, you just don't know. And
Wow.
I was warming up, and it was so, I'm get the ball
Yeah.
from. And anyway, the first guy up hits a single to right, and I thought, okay, that's coach. Could you warm somebody else up? Last hit they got, I struck out 16 of them, and we beat them.
Wow. Did they have heaters in the dugout?
No, oh no, it was that cold air just comes down off the mountains across the football field, their soccer field, the baseball field.
Yeah, yeah.
And it just sweeps down, and it swept into my face because home plate, the mountains were there, and home plate was right there.
Holy smokes.
Oh, that was the cold. I threw a couple games in Wyoming, University of Wyoming. That was brisk. Up there, it was more wind.
Hmm.
Um, and that's a challenge for a pitcher. If you throw heat, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
velo, um, and the wind is in your face, that's going to take a mile or two off the old fastball.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's going to add to your curve, slurve, slider, sweeper, whatever. If the wind's at your back, may add a mile or two but it's
Yeah.
going to diminish your breaking pitches. So or if it's from the side, okay, if it's coming from this side to this side, and I'm a right-handed pitcher, my hook's going to break a little more. If you're left-handed, it ain't going to break as much. I mean, the wind, it's a big factor for a pitcher, and certainly outfielders.
Yeah. Yeah. And hitters.
Yeah, well, who cares about them? But um, yeah, I remember throwing a game against the University of Wyoming, and oh my goodness, the wind was just, I mean, it would almost blow me off the back of the mound
Wow.
because it was just in my face. So,
Wow.
yeah.
I, 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 I get those mountain winds.
Oh, yeah.
The,
Yeah.
the
And the Air
coldest,
Force.
yeah, the coldest I ever was 44 below in the Army, and it was in the Ozark Mountains.
Whoa, that's
It was the
cold.
first time I ever heard of chill factor
Yeah. Yeah.
or below.
Right.
But I did go camping one time up in northern Minnesota by the Canadian border. It was 36 below without wind chill. That was a little cold.
That's
Went
that's
dog
brisk.
sledding.
That's brisk.
Yeah, it's very
Well,
cold.
if you go to any team that goes to the Air Force Academy, you're just treated. It's so beautiful, and you're so well treated. So we went down, to play them, and the pregame meal was steak, potatoes in the mess hall. It was just awesome. Well, they have, everything you possibly want is for athletics at the Air Force.
Right, sure.
And we just weren't aware of this, but they've got diving boards, big indoor pools, all this stuff. It's just fantastic. And what we didn't know was that this huge swimming pool they had a glass bottom.
What?
Yeah. So they would take tour. Anyway, several of the ball players, our ball players, after the game and before they showered, decided to go jump in the pool naked, which on the surface wouldn't be hideous. However, there was a tour underneath the pool. I was not one of those individuals.
That's hysterical. That is
Yeah,
hysterical.
that was that caused a little riff, as I remember.
I would think.
You
I,
know, some colonel was, we got everything in the world here. We've got this glass bottle.
Oh, it's funny. That's
Yeah,
funny.
that was really funny at the time.
I'm sure. I'm sure. You
But
know, I was thinking about all the hitters you have faced in the major leagues, right? Major league hitters,
oh yeah,
and you've watched a lot of games, a
right,
lot of games,
right.
uh, mostly National League games, right? Because was interleague play? Oh, it was then. 70. Wait, 73 was designated hitter.
Right, but by 95, because 95 I got to go throw it regal. No, 95 they still, or I would have gone, I don't know, maybe they didn't play the Red Sox. I would have gone and thrown at Fedway. I would have gone and thrown at Yankee Stadium. But I don't, did they even have interleague play there? I don't know.
Well, we should see when interleague play started because I want to ask you.
Okay.
Um, I will find this out. I want to ask you who you think the greatest hitters were that you have ever faced or seen.
Seen or through to.
Yeah,
Well, I think for people,
1997, by the way, 1997.
that's when interleague started.
Yeah,
Okay. Um, the best hitter, this is my take, but I think a lot of people would agree with me.
yeah,
The best hitter I think the Rockies ever had, and given this current circumstances, will ever have, was Todd Helton.
God help him. Yeah, who's in
He,
the hall?
well, and should be.
Oh,
He he was the classic example of he hit it where it was pitched.
yeah.
If you threw him away, he'd hit it away.
Mm,
He kept his. I tell you, Dan, you watch a game today, and so many of these hitters, of course, they love the swing up, and I think we've talked about this. Their chin's hooked to this front shoulder, and they're not seeing the ball the last 8, 10 feet.
yeah,
Now Helton, he was hooked to this shoulder, and you can see him in hit after hit after hit. He's looking right down where the ball was. Now he can't see it; it's going to him,
right.
but he had a good idea where it was going, and that's to me that's the art of hitting, and he had it mastered. I mean, he did.
I,
Uh,
yeah.
Maybe right behind him, who's also in the hall, would be Larry Walker. He could he he was, for me, he was the greatest five tool player the Rockies have ever had and
Mhm.
may ever have. He and he wasn't fast. He was a big guy. He was 6'4", 6'5". He was a big guy, but he had a tremendous baseball IQ, and he used it. And he could hit for power. He could hit for average. He could steal bases, not because he was fast, because he was clever.
Right, right,
He had a cannon of an arm, which is seemed to have packed up and left baseball. And he would deke. He played right field,
right,
which is the shortest field at Coors and has the out of town scoreboard.
right.
And he knew. I watched him a number of times. Ball's hit, he's going back. He knows he's not going to catch it. It's too far.
Right.
He backs up. The runners hold. They think he's going to catch it. And then at the last second, he turns and gets it. And he didn't move up a lot of bases on him or he'd gun you.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
But he
Yeah.
was, and Bichette was, uh, he studied hitting. He had Ted Williams' book on hitting. He was with him always. Had it
Yeah.
everywhere. He's the only guy in all my years there that I saw work off a tee.
Really?
He'd work off a tee. Yeah. He'd come out before during BP when, everybody else, and he'd put the tee up behind the cage and back by the wall, and he'd work off the tee. And that's a great way to learn how to hit the other way.
Oh, yeah.
And he would get in to hit. First round, everything was to right field. He was a right-handed hitter, but he'd go the
Mhm.
other way. Second round, he'd go up the middle. Third round, he'd pull.
Wow.
Fourth round, he'd hit it wherever. But he
Wow.
really worked on his hitting, and he was a outstanding hitter.
Didn't he come up through the Rockies organization, Bichette?
I don't know that.
I think Walker came from Montreal,
He did. He
and
did.
they had Cromartie
Oh,
and
they were loaded.
loaded, loaded.
Absolutely loaded.
Dawson, Cromartie, and Walker were their outfield. Can you
Yeah.
imagine that?
No, that
Then
they
they had
were.
Rogers pitching. They had a great
Oh,
team.
they did. And then the strike,
And strike blew it. And
it did.
actually, the Phillies had won the previous year. And at the halfway mark, I think the Expos were like in first or a game out.
Yeah. Oh,
The
they were
Phillies.
first. Yeah.
Yeah, they had
Yeah.
great teams. And I feel for the people in Montreal. I mean, they always said they didn't draw. Well, they didn't draw because they were always told that the team was moving or something. You know,
Yeah.
when they knew the team was moving. But I think Montreal should get another team.
And they may.
They may. I think
They may.
Buffalo. They're talking about Buffalo. They're talking about Sacramento and the Carolinas, Raleigh Durham. I think.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah, they're going to expand again.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they will because they went. But,
Yeah,
uh,
it's
but of that group, I would put Helton numero uno
it,
just because of his ability to hit anything. I mean,
hell,
as a pitcher, you're supposed to learn every hitter has a hole in their swing. And as a pitcher, it's my job to find out where is that. Well,
right,
now with metrics, that's easy to find out. They put him in quadrants and he hits 80% here and 10% up here. Oh, gee, there's where I want to work.
right.
If there was a hole in Helton's swing, I don't know where it was.
That was the Ted Williams.
Yeah,
First time I saw that was with Ted Williams, and there was
yeah.
one place where I don't know if it was low and outside, low and inside, where his number dropped below like 300 or something, but he was well, he was incredible.
Oh,
Like Tony Gwynn. Did you ever
Glenn.
face
Yeah.
Tony Gwynn?
No, no, I saw him hit. Carew was a great hitter.
Oh yeah, Carew.
I mean, these guys that we're talking about, they hit the ball where it was pitched, and they didn't care about launch angle or velocity off the bat. It was, I want a base knock. Now, maybe it goes over the fence, or maybe it's a tweener or whatever, but they wanted to put the ball in play.
Yeah,
And
swing.
today, that's,
I know they're all going for home runs. Just
yeah,
swing level. And the other thing, and David, you can help me with this. There
okay.
are certain guys that I watch. Trey Turner's getting out of it now, Castellanos was known for that. They're just they're chasers.
Yeah.
They they're chasers, and if you throw them a slider or what do they call it now, slurve or whatever, sweeper, okay,
Sweet.
yeah, they'll just change that sucker,
Yeah.
and very very rarely hit it.
Yeah. It's
Why? Why? Why do they keep
well,
changing that?
that,
Change,
I think there's several things. If you look back at those guys, Helton, Carew, Gwynn, Walker, I mean, these, outstanding Ted Williams, um, they were not chasers.
right?
They were disciplined hitters, one, and two, they had a two strike approach. I
Yeah,
don't, that's packed up and left.
yeah.
Um, you know, the
So their two-strike approach was all the time, right?
all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah. Until you get two strikes on me, I'm not, I'm going to look for my pitch, and I'm not going to go chasing, but I'm a little more aggressive as a hitter. I
okay,
get two strikes on me, now I'm guarding the plate. So I'm just looking for a pitch over the plate that I can foul off. Or
right.
Helton used to foul off pitch, especially pitches away. Guys that try and beat him outside. He was a left-handed hitter. They try and beat him with a slider on the outside, or a fastball going away, or a changeup, something that he'd foul it off and foul it off and foul it off until they made a mistake. Whoops, got that one too much over the plate. Hello.
Yeah, yeah,
But that's a thinking process of, how do I go up there as a hitter? Okay, what's this guy got today? What's his best pitch? Today, most of the time, it's the heat. Okay, I'm going to look for the heat. I I mean, look at some of the scores. The Cubs beat the Padres the other day, 23-6 or something. Seriously? That's
what?
three touchdowns and a safety. And so they, as they do today, they bring in a position player to throw the last couple innings because it's,
Right.
oh, well, what's the guy topping out at? 60, 70? Most of them just throw it in there. So I'm looking at these hitters. They're still in the back of the box. Stop it. You're going to wait for this 70-mile-an-hour pitch to drop. Why wouldn't you move up to the front of the box and just rip it before it?
It's so interesting you brought that up because it is not unusual for the position player who's now in the game pitching after they've wiped out all these other guys,
Yeah.
or for the position player to have like a three up, three down inning, or a
Yeah.
three up, maybe one guy gets on base.
Because they're just throwing caca up there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, but they don't know how to handle it.
the ephus pitch over and
Yeah,
over and
yeah,
over.
yeah.
But the guys are still in the back of the box. It's like, whether this guy's throwing 100 or he's throwing 50, I'm going to stand back here. I get the 100,
Right.
see the ball
Right.
longer. But 60, 70, stop it. Why wouldn't I'd be as far up in the front as I could get?
Yeah. I mean, I
But
could hit 60.
yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you, maybe I did a long time ago, about I was pitching in the over 30 league, the men's over 30 league, although I was 47.
But
And
that's okay. I passed math barely.
huh?
I passed math. That is over 30. 47 is over 30.
It is. You should have heard that. Well, I won't go into that. Uh, and we're in first place. We're playing the second place team. And I start to throw, and my cleat, I'm right handed, my left cleat catches on the dirt. So rather than stop, or there was nobody on base. It was the beginning of the inning. Rather than stop, I just lobbed the ball in, thinking whatever. And this guy fouls it off. I thought, I'm going to try that again. So I lob it in, and he pops up to the third baseman.
Wow.
Next guy comes up, and I thought, I'm on to something. I lob it in. Guy pops up to the first baseman.
Wow.
Next guy comes up. I lob it in. He pops up straight up above me, and I catch it. 3 outs on 4 pitches. I walk into the dugout. I didn't even realize it. And our catcher came up. He had never caught a pitch. And he walks down. I'm just sitting in the dugout, and he comes down. He goes, Jan, do you know what you just did? And I said, threw some ephus pitches. And he goes, you got 3 outs on 4 pitches, and I never caught a pitch. Whoa! That's
That is amazing.
well, and I think in no matter what level of baseball, you get 3 outs on 3 pitches or 4 pitches in this case. That's kind of amazing.
That is
And
amazing.
I just love
Ephus, Ephus pitches. Yeah,
Yeah, they couldn't resist. It
I
just came
know.
in.
It looks like a watermelon coming up there.
And they're going to rip it and pop up, pop up.
Yeah, it's funny because I always bring this little baby up, but
Yeah.
um, how small a baseball is when you think about it, and when a guy has bigger hands than me, okay, and it's almost disappears in their hands, right? It
Oh,
just
yeah. Yeah.
and and it's like throwing a rock if you're a little guy, okay? It it's like that, and
Yeah.
how they like Helton or any of the other guys that you mentioned, how they figure out how to hit this little sucker, with that round bat that's in the corner of your room there is amazing. I was watching
No,
the
it
game
is.
the other day, and I'm thinking that this guy's throwing it at 100 miles an hour and it's moving.
Well, hold on. The vast majority of the time, you throw 96, 97 plus, the ball's not moving.
It's
I mean,
not.
it's moving straight, but it's not breaking.
Yeah.
And those are predominantly 4-seam fastballs, which
Okay.
tend to stay straight. So,
So that's like this, right? It's going over.
yeah, that's a 4-seamer.
Yeah.
And that's all I could throw in BP was
Right.
4-seamers. Because
Got
they won't move. They tend to just stay straight. When you get to 2-seamers, and there are a number of different kinds of 2-seamers, that's when you're hoping to get some kind of movement.
movement.
The
Yeah.
force with the 4-seam, they cut the wind pretty consistently like that, so it stays straight.
Huh.
So then, if a guy's throwing at you at 100, as a hitter, you're just looking for location. Where is it? Up, down.
Wow.
It ain't going to move a lot.
Yeah.
But the twos will. They'll. And
As
then the
well.
change ups and the hooks and all those pitches.
It's amazing. I'm fascinated by it. It's just not a slight on soccer, okay? Because we talked about how a lot of people love soccer and so forth.
Oh yeah, worldwide.
But it's kicking a ball that's that big.
Yeah.
It's that big, and you can see it coming at you, and you had it. I mean, I played soccer for 2 years, and I had a full head of hair before I started. Okay, so I lost all my hair.
I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you. And it's great. And my friends that are into soccer from overseas, they say it's a strategic game, very strategic. I get it, like all the
Yeah.
others, but there's nothing more strategic than this.
Well, I mean, you're throwing this 5 and a quarter ounce pelota at 95 to 100, and I'm going to try and hit it with a bat that the barrel's not a whole lot bigger than the ball.
Right.
That's
Not a whole lot bigger than the ball.
uh-uh. That's something about holding it that's just
I know.
just makes me want to throw it. I'm sorry.
You know, the people who invent sports, I mean, the I don't know if it was Abner Doubleday that when they
No,
talking
no,
about,
it's not. It was not.
uh, uh, I'm fascinated by them. How did they decide 90 feet, 60 feet, 6 inches? How did they decide all that stuff? And every ballpark is different, which is kind of cool. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
as opposed to the other sports. The other sports are, I don't know what the dimensions of a soccer field are, but I believe they're always the
Oh,
same.
they are. They are.
Football
Yeah.
fields are the same.
Right.
Basketball
Basketball,
courts are the
hockey.
same, but baseball fields are not. No, only the infield is the same.
Yeah. And think of
So,
it. If the distance between home and first was 92 feet instead of 90 feet, we'd be lucky to have a 200 hitter.
yeah,
If it was 88 feet, we'd still have just 200. No, uh, you're probably looking at more 300 to 400.
yeah,
It's just, which would then make the other bases that much further or shorter, more stolen bases, fewer stolen bases.
yeah. Extra base
It's,
hits, all that other.
it's, and why is 60 feet 6 inches?
Yeah,
I don't know that.
that's just it.
I
I,
told you about being in Chicago at Harry Carey's bar, his restaurant. Have you ever been there?
no,
Well, if you go to Chicago, go to Harry Carey's. You would love it. It's a big restaurant and it's chocked full of baseball. He's got stuff in there from Babe Ruth and
wow,
it's just fantastic. And the food was good. And they got this big beautiful bar, wooden like mahogany bar or something. I don't know if I told you, and I was in there, this was years ago. And I'm looking at that bar. I don't know why, except one of the active brain cells went jam. So I started pacing it off because it looked to me like the distance. I've got a pretty good feel for that, having thrown 40 bazillion times off of it. So I started pacing it to see if it's 60 feet long. I'm halfway done. I'm like pacing. And this bartender behind the bar goes, "It's 60 feet." I said, okay, I didn't have to finish.
did you ask
But
him what happened to the 6 inches?
I don't know if he knew or if it really is that extra 6 inches. He
Yeah,
just said it's
yeah,
60 feet.
yeah.
But you would love it's all Italian food. It
Oh,
is it's just a wonderful place to go. And I loved him. I've got a great before our next time I'll dig out because when I threw it Wrigley, he was alive.
yeah,
And he was still the voice of the Cubs.
sure. And he was the voice of the Cardinals before that.
Yeah. And he got fired.
Why? You know?
Oh, well, we should probably stay away from that.
Okay.
Anyway, he
You'll
was,
tell me off camera. You'll tell me off camera. Yeah.
yeah, there we go. He was on the field. I went out early. I wanted to drink it in. And, I've got pictures of me walking around the field before anybody's on it. And it was just incredible. But then when everybody comes out, Sosa, there's Harry Carey. And the people I was with, they got this great picture of him. I should forward it to Skip or Chip, one of his kids, because it's just a great picture of him. And I didn't get to meet him or anything, but I loved him. He did you ever read who was his sidekick Stone? The pitcher, ex-pitcher was his color guy on the
Steve
broadcast.
Stone? Was it Steve Stone?
Steve Stone. He wrote a book. You would love it. It's called Where's Harry?
Really?
Yeah. And because no matter where they went on the road, LA, Chicago, to New York, whatever, they'd show up. And if Harry wasn't there, they would say to Stone, "Where's Harry?" He was going to get a shirt that said, "I don't know where Harry is." But, Harry would, I mean, God bless him. He was special. Um, and there'd be a pop up, and maybe it was going to be 50 feet behind shortstop. There it is, going deep. It's back to the shortstop, catches it. And he could not pronounce uh, Spanish names. He just
Sammy
couldn't.
Sosa.
Yeah, he just couldn't. He just, I think Valenzuela was Villapanato, or, he just had different. Um,
That's great.
but
That's
he was so special. They still play his seventh inning "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" at Cubs
yeah,
games.
yeah, yeah.
But to be that close to him, and there were so many people around him, or I would have gone up and introduced myself. But we sure got a great photo of him.
Yeah, that's very cool. By the way, I don't know if I probably did mention this, but if you listen to the words of "Take Me Out to the Ball Game"
Mm-hmm.
from the beginning, the intro, which you never hear, what we sing is "Take Me Out to the Ball," but
Right.
there's an intro to that, and the intro is about a woman who she gets all these suitors, and it's I can't remember completely, but it's to music. Tap tap Sally is
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
and it's then Sally says basically, if you want to go out with me, she sings,
Take me out.
take me out to the ball game.
Oh, wow. I never knew that.
It's a woman singing that song.
Holy cow. Who'd have thunk
Yeah,
it?
yeah. And holy cow, by the way, is the perfect segue from Harry Callis. I mean Harry Carey.
It is. Holy cow. Well,
Okay,
get the book. Where's Harry? I think you'd
I'll
really,
write it down. Where's
yeah,
Harry? I'm gonna write
Steve
it right
Stone.
here.
Yeah,
Where's
it's
Harry?
Where's Harry? He's got priceless funny stories in there about their adventures,
Steve
and
Stone.
Steve Stone. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
He did a good job. Stone, he
yeah,
knew the game, he knew pitching, so
yeah.
you
He
know
was a good pitcher,
he
Steve Stone.
was
Yeah,
absolutely was. And
yeah.
Harry he'd get off on things, but
It's
yeah, that
interesting.
his restaurant is superb.
Primo. It,
And you
it
love just walking around looking at all the memorabilia in there.
was like me going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely. It's
I
kind
was
of like a miniature
Hall of
hall. A
Fame.
lot of it is Cubby stuff, but a
Right.
lot of it is just, he had access to lots of stuff.
Sure. Sure.
So he was he was a ton of fun. I loved listening to him because,
Oh God.
and
Yeah.
he would he'd get on the Cubs. You can't win playing ball like this. I mean, he wasn't passive about,
Good.
you know,
The
he
homer.
these
It
guys.
was the homer. And I like that.
Absolutely.
The Phillies have Tom McCarthy and John Kruk most of the time. Sometimes they have Ben Davis or Ruben Amaro Jr. that rotate with Kruk, but Kruk's the main guy
Right.
most of the time, and he's funny.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
very
Always
witty.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, and and he doesn't hold back.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Well,
hold back.
if they're playing bad baseball, like,
He says like,
do you think the people watching don't notice that?
right,
How can you try to cover up for, uh,
right. How you going to win with bad pitching, bad hitting, and bad fielding?
you ain't? Well, you
Yeah,
ain't going to win with bad pitching.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Even if you've got good offense.
which happened to the Phillies the other day. Sometimes I'm sure you go through this a lot. You get a feeling about a game, And sometimes there are pitchers that relief pitchers I got to walk out of the room. I've said that before.
Right.
There's guys I can't watch. I got to walk out of the room. Um, but there's a pitcher for the Phillies. God love him. He's been there for 12 years. He's a wonderful guy. Uh, but he's having some issues, and he gives up a lot of home runs. And
Um,
and you can attest to this. Some pitchers are good for the first 3 innings, but once the
one,
team has
one
seen them,
time through the lineup. Yeah.
yeah, once the teams has seen them into the second or third time, so therefore the fourth inning, the fifth inning, or sixth inning, it becomes an explosion.
Yeah.
And I'll watch it and I'll go, okay, this guy, the Phillies are winning 5-0, and a guy hit a home run with a man on. It was 5-2, and I said they should take him out because that somebody else is going to hit one because that's the signal. It's the
Sure.
signal. And they didn't, and they lost the game like 11-5
Oh,
after
gee.
scoring 5 runs in the second inning or third inning. So, and sometimes you think, well, I'm just a fan. What do I know? The manager knows better than me. But I've been watching this game for 65 years, no more, 75 years. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I know a little bit,
Well, you do.
and
You know good pitching, bad pitching, good
right.
hitting, bad hitting. Yeah.
And, and there's signals and hitters know it. When a hitter goes back to the dugout, you've been sitting in the dugout, right? The hitter goes,
Yeah.
his slider's not working, right? His
Right.
curveball is
Yeah.
crap today. So
Yeah.
watch for the movement. If you think it's going to drop, it's not going to drop. It's not going to be a 12-6. It'll be a 12 to the middle of the clock, right? So
Absolutely.
so they tell each other.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely, they do. And, so many pitches now are down the gut. They're just down Broadway, and guys hit home runs, and I get it, but they should hit home runs off that stuff.
Yeah,
It's just waist high, and you'll see, you know, some of them are fastballs, but you'll see spin. It's doing nothing,
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
breaking, or breaks just a little bit, which puts it right on the sweet spot of the barrel. It's I think I've told you before. I think Ted Williams would hit 500 today.
Yeah,
Helton
yeah.
would probably hit 400. Uh, Now the other side, they'd go, they didn't have to face 100.
It's true.
Okay,
It's true.
well, I think Feller threw close to 100, but uh, those guys knew how to pitch.
Yeah, that's a difference. They had a lot of pitchers. Robin Roberts, for instance.
Oh
Great.
yes,
He reminded me
absolutely.
of Maddox, Robin Roberts.
Yeah,
Robin Roberts, I believe, I could be wrong, pitched a doubleheader one time. Okay.
yeah.
There were no pitch counts, there were no anything like that. But they weren't paying people $30 million either.
No, of course not.
So they're trying to, watch their investment. But
Yeah.
I mean,
I think he threw a 17 inning game once.
yeah, yeah, Robbie's one of my heroes. Robbie and
Yeah,
Richie Ashburn. I mean,
yeah.
I, and there's Richie Ashburn just calling me from above. It's a
I'm
severe
sorry.
thumb.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
he's letting me know. He said, Dan, thanks for mentioning me.
seriously?
Now he's dead. Uh, but
Well,
yeah,
you still could get a message.
I could actually at 100. What do you think's coming when it's 100 degrees and it's cloudy?
I'm going to say there's a whole bunch of humidity in the air.
Hello, thunderstorms. That's what's going to happen.
That's the worst humidity. It just sucks the life out of you.
Yeah, yeah, it's brutal, and that's why it's almost like okay, they postpone a game when it's raining,
Right.
but
Not,
not when it's 100 degrees and 60% humidity.
yeah. Which has the same effect.
Yes, yes.
I was in Chicago once, and it was 103, and the humidity was 12 billion or something. I couldn't walk around without I was just soaked.
Yeah.
It was so oppressive. It's, yeah, I don't,
I don't understand
no
what I'm
thanks. I mean, when I threw and it was, close to 100, we don't have that kind of humidity here.
Yeah, I know. But it in places where it gets that humid, I mean, you could get heat stroke at
Oh,
100 degrees.
absolutely. If you don't stay hydrated,
Yeah. Oh,
you're in some deep. And I love it when they'll show guys cramping up and quick get some Gatorade. It's kind of late for that. You need to hydrate prior to the game.
right.
Anyway, it's
Well,
well, good luck.
I get it. My wife and I had to go out and buy some stuff today called food.
Oh yeah, yeah, a
And
necessity.
yeah, we needed that. And we were driving and coming back, and then I had to go somewhere else on a business thing. And and I said, I could have some water.
Yeah,
I gotta have some water. I mean, it's like
yeah.
so. Uh, just imagine if you're in a game.
Oh yeah, you got. I mean, I once Gatorade came out, when I was pitching, I sucked it down constantly because you get the electrolytes you don't get in water.
Right, right.
It keeps you really helps keep you hydrated. But um, I I I don't know. I don't miss it. I don't miss it. When I was done with BP in '99. I was done. I
Yeah.
could have probably gone back, but 6 years was, and after Leland's year, I just was done with
What happened with Leland?
it. Well, he's obviously a brilliant manager, Hall of Fame manager for sure. But he came here in '98, they fired Baylor and all the coaches, which
Right.
was really brutal, really disturbed me. And because I'd been with those guys from the get go.
Yeah.
And anyway, I figured, and there was talk it was going to be Leland. He'd taken Florida to the title,
Right.
and and he signed a 2-year, multi-million-dollar deal with the Rockies. And I was at spring training because I was making this ridiculous attempt to be a sports agent.
A what?
Sports agent.
We're taking. Yeah, yeah,
And so I was down at spring training, and not to throw, I'm down there looking for ball players. And anyway, I go to dinner with Hurdle, who they did keep as the hitting coach. He was the only guy that Leland
yeah.
kept. And so we go to dinner, and he's going on, this is going to be something, and fresh attitude, and blah, 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 blah. And he, Jan, come on back this year. So, okay. And in retrospect, I wish I hadn't, but I did. I did it for him, for Clint.
Right.
And it was a different attitude, that's for sure. Um, so I couldn't wait till that was over.
Hmm.
And as soon as and we were terrible. And I obviously don't know the man and whatever, but it appeared to me, kind of hung it up when he got here. He didn't
Really.
really care, uh, win, lose, or draw. And, that permeated the team fairly quickly.
Well,
And,
that sucks.
huh?
That that stinks.
It
Stinks.
does. Yeah. And it was difficult to watch. And anyway, the end 99, I said to Clint, I'm out of here.
And the Rockies aren't doing too well this year.
Well, they have some. good, really good young players,
Oh,
position players.
it's important. Yeah.
Yeah, and who are seem to have the ability to put some runs up.
Yeah.
But you put up 8 and you give up 14.
Well,
That's
that's bad. Yeah, that's bad.
because the pitching is it's not major league pitching. Yeah, as a team, you've got to determine even in today's pitching, who's my number one guy?
Right.
Who's my ace? Okay, if you take that ace off your team, would he even fit in the Dodgers pitching? No.
No.
Would he fit in? If you try and move him around, okay, maybe he'd be the third or fourth starter for somebody else, but he's your ace. That's probably not going to cut it
Yeah.
because
No,
most of the time he's going to face the other team's ace.
that is
And,
cool.
so, uh, but of course, and I see the part of the players, what they want to increase the roster from 26 to 28.
Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, the Players Association does.
They want to have 28 guys on the team?
Well, you got to have 13 or 14 pitchers.
You do. You mean
So,
I can, there's room for me.
huh?
There's room
Yes,
for me.
there is. You could be the setup man.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll put all the place settings in place for dinner.
No. You go out in the eighth and you throw the ephus stuff. The closer at 100. Hello, they're not going to touch him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But they want to increase it at 28. I wonder what this agreement's going to look like. I really do. It frightens me a little bit. I don't know what the heck's going on.
Well,
But
there's going to be a strike.
yeah, and one thing that I mean, everybody knows what all the players are making, right?
Yeah,
Say, tell them this guy's got 5 years, 170 million.
right.
It's got they're going to be playing until they're 30 and making 20 million a year. Blah blah blah. What do the coaches make?
Not that.
Manager make? What does a good coach make?
Well, I'll bet this is the first year for this manager of this Rockies team, and there's not a player on that team that ain't making more than he does.
Right. So what a manager? I mean, Don Mattingly's probably making some good money, but his son is the GM. So
Yeah, that helps.
yeah, but it,
Is that nepotism? Don't you discuss that in business?
I think so. He was the bench coach first, and then
Yeah.
Thompson got fired. But like, what does a first base coach make? What does a third base coach make? I often wonder that. What does the hitting coach make? The bullpen coach make? 100, 200, 300?
I doubt they get that much.
Really? They got to make
The pitching coach and hitting coach are going to be the biggest paid coaches.
right.
Probably close in there is the bench coach. I would
Okay.
be bench coach. What do you do? Hey, we got 2 outs. You only do anything when the guy gets tossed. The third base coach, the first base coach, and then the bullpen coach is probably the least paid.
You think they make $250,000?
The coaches?
Yeah.
No,
They don't make $250,000 in today's.
I don't think so.
So they make a couple hundred, 150.
Maybe
Wow. Wow.
it's because of the lack of responsibility. I mean,
Right.
usually the third base coach, first base coach, those guys they'll be pretty good at hitting infield during BP, that sort of thing.
Right.
But there's no direct input so much into the hitting or the pitching or whatever. But the players, they're making it hand over fist over those guys.
I know. I do know now that they have the hitting coach and they also have an assistant hitting coach.
Yeah, and they have pitching coach and an assistant pitching coach.
Yeah. It's like
I don't know. I guess if the pitching coach gets sick, the other guy. I don't know what that's about.
yeah, I often wondered what the heck does a bench coach make? What is the first or third base coach. I should look it up. It's probably in there, but um, yeah, I always wondered that. And they're
Yeah,
around these guys making multi-million dollars, or a guy who's like making $958,000 as the 26th man on the team, you know, and a rookie, something
right,
like that. So
right.
it's
And if you're the pitching coach and you've got an assistant pitching coach, is this guy just not a clone of you? He's not
yeah,
going to take odds with what you say about whatever
right,
pitching, or the same with hitting.
yeah,
The
that's
assistant hitting coach isn't going to, I think you're wrong, Bill. I think if the guy,
right.
that's so they're
Crazy.
just, I don't know what they do.
It's crazy.
Well, they didn't, when I was with the Rocks, they didn't have, uh, Baylor was the manager. Um, Dad gum, who was the bench coach? Oh, it was Don Zimmer.
Oh, Don Zimmer. Yeah.
Don Zimmer. Uh, the pitching early on, the pitching coach was Larry Bernard.
Wow, I remember him.
Yeah. The hitting coach was, well, let's take 95. That was Art Howe.
A great hitting coach. Yeah.
Yeah. The um, uh,
Bullpen.
bullpen coach was great guy, just drew a blank on. So that was it. There weren't assistants. They were just
Wow.
in. And like Zimmer, when they start,
Zimmer is hysterical.
Don Zimmer, when he came to the Rockies, he was already 5 days older than water. I mean, he was real. And he was the third base coach. Well, he would, he'd have to give signs, and they, so I found out through some of the players or whatever that they didn't have time to wait for him to get through the signs. So they removed him from third base and they put in a guy I just loved. I ran into him in Fenway Park a few years ago, Jerry Royster.
Oh yeah, I remember Jerry Rusty.
Well, you're talking 180 degrees. We went from, and hitters are stepping back out like, what?
Oh, that's great. That's great. Oh
It
God.
was, it was, it was so funny. But we didn't have a whole bunch of. Royster was the first base coach. Zimmer was. Then they
Yeah,
flipped, and then Don Zimmer walked off in the middle of the season, 95. He
he had
just,
it.
yeah, yeah. I guess he. I don't know what. Well, he'd had some health issues,
Mm.
but he was a different guy. In '93, I used to catch in for him when he did infield. And you could talk up a storm with him. He'd been in baseball forever.
Never.
At every ballpark, I mean, he had and he was a ton of fun. I'd catch in and flip him. I tell you what, back in the, he'd just talk and talk and talk.
It's great.
So 94, I wasn't there.
Right.
He was. 95, I'm back. He's there. He's a different guy. He virtually never talked.
Yeah, he probably
I still
was.
caught in for him. I
Yeah.
remember distinctly we were on the first base side. He was hitting to the shortstop and third baseman, and I'm catching in, and it's a new ballpark. Beautiful. I said, Don, what do you think of this beautiful new ballpark? No. In 93, he would have, I'll tell you what I think of it. I was 95, he goes, yeah, it's great.
He was
That's
sick.
it. That
He
was
was
it.
sick.
I knew something was up,
Yeah.
something was wrong, and it was in June. Uh, he had his wife wait for him in the players' parking lot. He was gone.
Wow.
Just
It's a
walked
shame.
off in the middle of a game, in
Wow.
the middle of the season. But I told people, because people say, "Oh, he's probably done," with baseball. I said, "No." Bingo winds up as the bench coach with the Yankees.
Oh, he probably had a problem with, was that Leland?
Baylor.
Baylor. Oh, that's weird.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
I
maybe.
didn't go there, but he was gone. But they replaced him with he's still a good friend, Gene Glenn, and he was so good. And he took over at third base and did it at a reasonable pace. And he
So,
was he
well,
was a great infield coach, and
great.
yeah, and we became really good friends.
Well, Jan, as usual,
No, I'm still talking, Dan. So no,
this has been a great hour, as always.
absolutely, as
Love it.
always.
Love it. And folks, don't forget to subscribe to Dan and Jan Go Yard right here on YouTube. And we're on Spotify. So we're on most all the different platforms. Do it. Jan, thank you, sir. Have a
Dan,
wonderful July 4th weekend.
yes, and always good to see and chat with you.
Same here. Great talking to you and listening to your great stories. And we'll see you next time, everybody, on Dan and Jan Go
Absolutely.
Yard.
Adios.
Adios, my friends. See ya.
Bye.
That was it.